from the family reunion. I knew you guys were older than us, but I remember your faces.
Oh, there we go. We're older.
Older.
Don't worry, I'm getting there.
She's old. I'm older.
Do you know Yvette?
Her face is familiar, and we have pictures of her because my grandma passed away in October, so we were going through photos, and I've seen pictures of her in my mom's scrapbook.
Oh, you have to screenshot it.
Yeah. I think you're at Aunt Vicky's house. You have on a bathing suit.
Yeah,
a couple of them.
Yep. Yeah.
My mom took her camera everywhere, so she got pictures of a lot of people. So
that was the wedding that we talked about, I think, on the first podcast. And
was it the double wedding? Was it Eve and Debbie's wedding?
It was Eve and Debbie. Yep. Yes.
Yep.
And my mother
was in that wedding.
Had our bathing suit on, and as soon as they said "I do," we got in the pool. And Aunt Blanche cursed my mother out.
Yeah, I started out with curls at that wedding and ended up like the Jackson 5 at the end of the day.
How old were you then? So you were definitely younger, right? You were like,
oh, I was little. I guess that was like the 80s. So I probably was like 8, 9.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Wow. That's so sweet that you're
right. Wow.
They call me an elephant because I always remember. So my mom can't remember. She'll say, Isha, you remember? And I say, yeah, I remember.
See, and I think what happens, I think with, and I guess I've seen this with our families. All right. So for instance, I know Jay and Derek because their father is my first cousin. Now growing up, we were around. Now we didn't hang out all the time. Their father is older than I am. Older than I am. So it's not like we hung out. But when we went to their grandmother's house, they were always there. We were always hanging out with them. Or if we went to my grandmother's house, okay, they were always there. So so we were always we always seemed to be around each other, not daily, but it was fairly regular that we would see them, hang out with them several times a year. They come out to the house and that sort of thing. So what happens is we stay, we're in that line and we know all the people in that line that we see all the time. Now, then there's the branch offs, all right? Because Yvette and I, we didn't meet until we were teenagers. Okay. Wow. Yeah, we didn't meet until we were teenagers. Although she lived in Queens, she didn't live far away from from where my grandmother lived, and we were at my grandmother's all the time. But we never, just our paths never really crossed. Okay, even though her mother and my father first cousins. Okay, and they knew each other. It's not like they were mad at each other or anything, but they just did but it just didn't always get there because now Yvette, on the other hand, she was with her aunts and uncles, in that that particular line. Yeah. I think COVID has given us an opportunity to blur some of those lines because now we're having an opportunity to meet people that
first time
really know first time, and we get to know them, they get to know us, and the more that we do that, and what's sad to say, but we have to take it as a reality. The generation above us is disappearing.
Yeah,
people have lost it. You probably heard my mother passed away a couple of months ago now. So people are disappearing. And the thing is that it was really that generation that did a lot trying to keep everybody connected. Right?
Yep, and together. Yep.
Right. So it's our job to be able to do that. So I'm excited, to learn about Dara and her family, from your perspective. And all of our folks down there in South Jersey.
They crazy. Crazy trying to hold it together.
Because I know y'all used to love going to Atlantic City all the time.
Yeah, we haven't been to Atlantic City in a little bit, but yeah, they did enjoy that. My mom, my grandma, and Aunt Vicky. 3 peas in a pod. My grandma and her sisters always lived like either walking distance or driving distance of each other. So like when you were saying you've seen Derek and them on a regular basis, that's how it was. We always saw Eve, Debbie, Tabitha, Michelle, Danny, all of them. Instead of being like cousins, it was more like brothers and sisters. We saw them all the time. Every time they did something, get together, play Bikina, Pinochle.
So,
Yeah.
Bikina, oh my gosh, they used to play that all the time. That and spades, I think that was what I remember the most.
Oh yeah, they have a family trip now. All the girls, some of the girls went. I didn't go because of COVID. I'm just scary. And they got together. They're in Virginia Beach now. They rented a little mansion, and so it's like 45 of them that are there.
How many?
45.
45.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Now,
we're excited.
Did you come when Vicky and Preston and all of them would come to the Queens, and it would be so funny.
And we'd be in the park.
Well, no, I meant actually to my house. So my mother was Minnie Harris, and Donald Harris was my dad, and I remember vividly when they would pile up and come.
Now I remember coming to Queens. Well, I remember coming to New York. I'm not going to say I remember what part I was in, and I remember going to houses and visiting people, but their names sound familiar. That's all I could say. I couldn't pick them out in the lineup though.
And it would be funny because we would open the door and it would be like at least 20 people rolling in.
Yeah, I would say we probably were a part of that crew because I remember them renting like Aunt Vicky used to have a camper. Yep. Half of us would get in there, and then they would rent a 15-passenger van, and we would all pile in there, and we would go for the weekend or for the night or whatever the case was, and then we would end up back at Aunt Vicky's house.
Yeah. We'd open the door, and they would just start coming in, and we'd be like,
you'd be like, "When's it gonna stop?"
I think we're gonna have to go in the backyard and have a barbecue. So, yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I have to go through my mom's scrapbook so I can put some pictures up so you guys can see how many old photos she has. Like from the family reunions, like she has some of Aunt Blanche. We're at a park, and it's when we have the blue and white T-shirts that say my family reunion. And my grandma in the back of her closet, she had the hats that we got from the family reunion from that same one. They're blue and white ones. Yeah.
So Kevin and I were on. Was that the first year? Or the second year that we were on the committee? We were on the family reunion committee. That we used to go to the meetings at Vicky's house.
Yep.
So I've probably seen you there because we stayed at Aunt Vicky's house. That's where I learned to swim.
Did you? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember going to one meeting, and back then landmarks were really key. So if you lived down the block from a restaurant, I would know to turn, on that block. And Kevin, I don't know if you remember when they closed one of the banks that was like right on the corner of like the main road before you would take to turn into her. And I got lost.
No, I don't remember.
And I finally got there, I was like, well, who closes a bank? Like, how does a bank go out of business? You or a restaurant or something. But I was like, the bank, because I kept going past and past. And I was like, well, where's the bank? Because that's where I'm supposed to turn,
That's funny. I'm a landmark girl. Very rarely do I know the name of a street. Of how to somewhere to get. I know that there's a pink house, there's a yellow house. If you get to the bank or the store, you're going too far, turn around. I never knew the names of the streets.
All right, so let's make this official. For the recording, please state your name.
Oh, I'm Aisha Myers.
All right, and when were you born?
I'm 44, so I was born December 21st, 1976.
And where?
In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at Pennsylvania Hospital.
Okay, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Hospital. Great. Who are your parents?
My mom is Dara Myers, who became Dara Stokes when she married my dad, Tyrone Stokes. Yep.
Okay, great. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I'm the oldest of 3 girls. There's me, Aisha. My next sister, we're 5 years apart, is Markeisha. And then my next sister, we're 12 years apart, Taisha.
Okay. Do you have children?
I have no children. No children. I'm not married.
Okay, not married and no children. How about nieces and nephews?
I have one nephew, Tristan. He's 10 years old. My youngest sister, Taisha's little boy.
Okay. All right. Where did you grow up?
Mostly in South Jersey, right in Sicklerville, New Jersey. We lived with my grandmom until I was like 11, and then my mom and dad bought their first townhome 5 minutes from my grandma's house in Lehigh Manor.
Okay, by the way, who's your grandmother?
Blondell Mack or Blanche Mack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. What was life like growing up? Okay, when you did, and I'm going to say, I guess in the 80s in South Jersey. What was life growing up like for you?
It was fun. Of course, we lived with my grandma, so mom and dad said no, just slide over to grandma and say, Grandma, I was talking to them about this and they already said no. So grandma would smooth it over and be like, my grandbaby can have that. Why can't she have it? So life was good. We lived with my grandma, my mom and dad, and my uncles were there. So it was always somebody home, always somebody, to hang out with, wrestle with. I love to wrestle. I'm having uncles. I was the oldest niece. My mom had me when she was 17 in December. She turned 18 in March. So my uncles were like not uncles, but brothers, and always like my protectors. And then 5 years when Markeisha came, I thought, oh, what in the world is this? I don't know about a new baby. So it was like not civil rivalry. I was okay with it because I would just, go to my grandma, go to my nieces, or my uncles rather. But it was fun. It was fun. Then when we moved out, it was a little different because we lived around the corner. My grandma wasn't there when we would get out of school. My mom would be there. And then so that was a little change, but we got used to it relatively quickly. And we learned how to walk from our house to my grandma's house. So we would finish our schoolwork and my mom would be like, it's a school night. I said, we could be at grandma's in 12 minutes. Like you were talking to us about not being able to go. We could already be there. And of course, by the time we would do all that, my grandma would be pulling into the court because it was a cul-de-sac where we live. And I said, she's already here. Come on, we're going over there to have dinner. So it was fun for the most part. I enjoyed my childhood. I don't have many bad memories. I have some crazy things that happen, but other than that, it was fun.
Oh, you just opened up a can of crazy. So tell us a crazy thing that happened.
Well, my mom couldn't do hair was one of them. Everywhere we went, I would say our hair was a sight to see. She'd start out on one side doing pretty good, and by the time she'd get over here, she'd get tired. So you'd start out with like small braids and end up with these medium to jumbo braids, and it just wouldn't necessarily match. Or we would just have a nice afro, and she would put a ribbon around it, like that was done. And then I remember one year for school pictures, nobody ever got one of these pictures. My dad had to take care of us because my mom had a really bad asthma attack after she had Markeisha. And she was in the hospital for like 2 months. And then Markeisha had her bout with asthma. So she was there for 4 months in the hospital. So my mom would stay at the hospital with her and back and forth. And neither her nor my father drove. So she was dependent on my uncles to get her back and forth. So my hair was crazy for like 3rd grade and 4th grade. And picture day, my dad dressed me in my Uncle Troy's shirt, which was like this brown flannel and green plaid shirt that had like these funny patches and elbow pads. And he just picked my hair out in the afro and put all this grease on my forehead. Oh my goodness. And that's how my pictures were for 4th grade. So nobody got that picture. We still have all of those pictures. We were looking at them. My mom said, why don't you put them in the trash? I said, I don't know. Maybe it'll end up on a magazine or a book cover one day. And nobody got any of those photos. I can recall several times my grandma saying, where are your pictures? And I would just be like, don't pull those pictures out there. They were a sight to see. When my mom saw them, she couldn't believe my dad sent me to school like that. She said, why didn't you ask one of my cousins to braid her hair? He said, I didn't remember it was picture day. And I didn't remember that day, that morning, or the week before. But before that, I had been talking about it. But that was one of the crazy moments.
Hey,
I do believe all little girls have a very similar story in terms of their fathers.
Unfortunately, yeah, I can relate.
I was going to say, Derek, what are your daughters going to say about you?
They're going to have some horror stories. Like there's pictures that I even take out of the package. I'm like, oh, all right, we're not putting this one up.
We're not going to do those. Yeah. So Kenneth Mack is your uncle, right?
Yeah,
Kenny?
that's my mom's brother.
Yep. Your mom's brother, yep.
Yeah, there is. My mom is the oldest. It's her, Teresa, Michael, Kenneth, and Troy. They had one brother in the middle there, Nemo, and he passed away from sudden infant death. He was like almost 7 months old.
Right. Yeah. See, I remember all of them, but the children, you guys were really, as I'm thinking, I remember the younger kids, your age, but not now because I haven't seen you in like forever. But what I loved about your side of the family, there were always so many of you. There were always, y'all were noisy. Our whole family was loud. There was always a lot of laughter and, you know, some anger voices, you know, every once in a while. And or, you know.
That's some of the crazy stories.
Like, definitely a lot of laughter.
They're coming to visit, put the beer up on the top of the refrigerator. But always fun.
Yeah.
Were you at the last reunion?
I wasn't. I was supposed to come. I did my grandma's hair and all that for it. I think it's the one where she has on the blue shirt.
Yeah, she was there.
The picture of her.
Yeah, that was. And, I want to say that was the last time I saw her, because she, you know, saw her there, and I spent a lot of time talking with Kenny. Okay, we sat and we talked for, you know, for quite some time.
Oh yeah, he's really having a hard time, sad to say, right now because of my grandma not being around, which I could imagine. Where my parents first bought their first townhome is where he lives now, so it was less than 5 minutes. He went to my grandma's house every day faithfully. If he had to work, then he was after work, and he would always bring her dinner and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I want to say he's still in some cases, like on Facebook, he responds as his mother.
Oh yeah, because he keeps her page. He wants to keep her page going, her Facebook page. So.
Yep. Okay, so I'm hearing you had a good childhood. It was a fun childhood. And what high school did you go to?
I went to Edgewood High School. They changed it. It's now Winslow High, but it was Edgewood back in the day. It's the same high school where Danny and Michael and all of them graduated from eventually. Yeah.
Okay. And when did you graduate?
In 1994.
1994. Did you go on to more education after that?
I have an associate's degree in surgical technology. I went to McCarry School over in South Philadelphia at the where the arts were.
Okay, gotcha. And so now, what do you do? What do you do for a living?
Well, because of COVID, I'm unemployed. One of the things I learned when we went to school was we learned to work in the operating room and assist the surgeon with instruments to complete surgical procedures. They also taught us what was called like central supplies, which is where you clean and create the packets for surgeries to be done. And they also taught us billing and coding. So before COVID hit, I worked for a medical center out in Philadelphia, South Jersey and Hamilton, the blueberry capital, and I was a part of the billing department. I worked along with documented and undocumented pregnant women to help them get medical insurance and coverage. So when COVID hit, I was laid off. They were able to have like my supervisor and manager do my position from a stay-at-home position.
Oh wow.
Are those positions starting to open back up some, or?
If they are, they haven't called me back to work. October would have been 12 years that I was with them. That was my 4th position. So who knows, maybe they'll call me back. Maybe they won't. They'll say her pay grade was getting up there. So.
Would you be able to transfer over somewhere else with the same experience?
I have applied, and I did get something from AmeriHealth. I didn't like the hours, and I figure why go to something where I'm not going to be happy. Where I was relatively content. Like I liked what I did. Didn't always like the people that I worked with, just because maybe the added workload or they're off lollygagging and I'm working. But that's everywhere, you know. Sad to say. So if they were to call me back, I'd go back. I liked the company. I liked it because we saw patients, whether they had the ability to pay for services, whether they had insurance or didn't have insurance. I liked the mission that was behind the company. So
what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, I'm a jack of all trades. Since COVID happened, I started a little like t-shirt business with 2 other girlfriends. So we've added since then. We've made earrings out of resin. We've made cups. We've made keychains. We made the keyless fobs. I love to do hair. So I have a few people that are older in my congregation because I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and they haven't gone back to like hair salons and things like that. So they allow me to come into their home and I either braid or wash, blow dry, curl their hair, whatever.
Yeah, so you're an entrepreneur.
Yes, I say a jack of all trades.
So just an FYI, a little friendly advice with my cousin. So when somebody asks you what you do, you tell them that I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
That's my cousin. Because that's what you are. You know, you're unemployed from your other place, but you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I'm doing several other things. I also take care of children. I have a little family that would allow me to nanny for them. They have 7 kids, but only 5 at home presently. So I'm keeping busy.
I'm thinking we have, since you're there in South Jersey, my father's oldest and best friend recently passed away. They lived in Lawnside. And they had
Lawnside.
Huh?
I'm familiar with Lawnside.
Okay.
Do you remember the Hutchinsons?
You asking me?
Yeah. Do either one of you remember the Hutchinsons? Eugene, and I think his wife's name was Viola. They lived in Lawnside. They would come. They might have came to the reunion a few times.
How are they related or friends of family?
They're not related. They're friends of family. For years, I thought they were related, and then when they passed away, I learned out that they weren't really my aunt and uncle. But they lived in Lawnside, is why I was bringing that up.
What exit is that, Kevin?
Lawnside is like right next to Camden. It's like if you're on your way into Philadelphia. So if you're on 295, because 295 is parallel to the turnpike. So usually now when we go south, because my sister and brother live in Maryland, if we were traveling from Central Jersey, we would cross over 195 past Great Adventure. We'd go right past the turnpike, go to 295, and then take 295 all the way to the Delaware Memorial Bridge because it was free. You didn't have to pay the toll. So coming back, but you hit Lawnside right in that same vicinity. There's a restaurant there called Rochester's. Have you ever heard of that restaurant?
Rochester's.
Rochester's. It's a soul food restaurant. Well, that was my father's friend and his 2 sons. They own that restaurant. But he just passed away, and I'm sure they're going to try and keep the restaurant going because it's very popular.
I'm going to look it up.
It's soul food?
Yep. All those things that a vegan don't eat.
They're vegan,
they got fries.
Whatever, we eat
fries. How long have you been vegan?
2.5 years. I was a pescatarian since '91 before that, but I still had like my occasional pizza and fish. And then 2 years ago, I stopped eating all of it and just became plant-based.
That's good. I follow the pescatarian sometimes. I do try to do meatless months. So that's good. I'm glad to hear that. So I could always find recipes from you.
Yes.
Snack ideas.
And who knows, Kevin? They probably have something vegan friendly on the menu.
He's laughing.
If you saw Vincent Jr.,
he's like
you might not think so.
Okay. Not even close.
They got ribs the size of the Flintstones. so probably
the
not.
funniest thing about ribs, that's probably not that I would ever, because the last time I had any type of ribs was 1990. But that's the only thing that if I go to somebody's barbecue, that smell. No, definitely not tempted. But I just that smell reminds me of good times and family reunions and barbecues, and it just brings me back to a different place. But I would definitely never eat it again.
Mm-hmm. What do you like to do? Do you like to travel? Do you have other hobbies or?
Yeah, I like to travel. I've been to Hawaii, been to Puerto Rico, been to Barbados. I like to play games. I like togetherness, card games, board games. Just to laugh, have a good time. Not serious. I'm a very simple person.
Do you know we have a cousin in Puerto Rico?
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Pat Brown, Patricia Brown. She lives in San Juan.
Okay. No, I didn't know that.
Another cousin, Danny Whitfield.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Carrie,
And how long
Carrie Whitfield was my mother, Minnie Harris, Blanche Dingle. They were all sisters. Mary. Am I forgetting?
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
He lives there. He's been there longer than Pat, because Pat, how long has Pat been there? 5 years?
Pat's been there. No, I want to say it's a little longer than 5 years now.
Has it been? Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's been there probably almost as long as I've been here in South Florida.
She was gonna move.
Okay. Right. Yeah, she's been here since I've been longer than I've been in South
Puerto
Florida.
Rico. What made her move to Puerto Rico?
Retirement.
Nice.
Yeah,
He wouldn't let her move to Florida.
And we wouldn't let her move to Florida.
He's got to see this.
Pat isn't Pat. We love Pat. Pat is an acquired taste.
People like, Pat, you can't move to South Florida. We can't let you.
We said you don't want to move to Florida. Ain't nothing here to do here. But unfortunately, the thing that happened with Pat was then after she moved to there and she was there a few years, she had to deal with those hurricanes. Okay, I remember she was talking about fairly recently when I guess it was Maria a couple of years ago, where she had to walk up and down 20 flights of stairs because they had no power. So she's Pat's a little up in age, but she doesn't look it. She's very youthful, and she has certainly youthful energy. But she's not a spring chicken to the sense that she can keep running up and down 20 flights of stairs, several times a day. So, and I think she just had but she just have a hip replacement. I think she just had a hip replacement recently, but but she's still very energetic. You may or may not know that we have family across the country in places that you might like for instance, we have a family in Denver.
Yeah, I would never have thought that we have family in Denver.
No, Texas.
Okay.
California.
I'll have California on my list when things open up. I'm going to find my way to California and Hawaii.
Yep. Let's see, Florida, obviously, because Yvette and I, we both live in Florida. But we have family in and around the Tampa area, Jacksonville, the Jacksonville area.
I have a friend who has family in Jacksonville, and my cousin, Deirdre and Latoya, both live in Jacksonville.
Okay.
Latoya relocated because her sister has terminal cancer, and she wanted to get to know her nieces and nephews better before her sister passed away, so she could be a part of their lives, so they wouldn't.
That on your father's side?
No, on my mom's side. Deirdre, Latoya is Claudia and Abe's child, and Deirdre is really not related to us, but Aunt Claudia raised Deirdre because Deirdre's mom was on drugs and not responsible. So instead of letting her go into the system, she brought her home to her house there in Far Rockaway and raised Deirdre from like 3 weeks old. And so Deirdre has cancer. She's on the girls trip though. She was able to get stable enough to go and have some time away with them. Yeah. There are, Latoya is, do you remember Minnie or Pandora? So that's their sister.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think you're muted.
I am?
You're muted. No, yeah, there you go.
Oh.
I didn't hear what you said.
No, you had muted.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I got a call and I declined it.
Gotcha. Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, all right, Maryland, all right, you got family in all of these different places.
These are good to know because I like to travel, so I will visit.
And in all of those places, people would be certainly open to meeting other people that they may or may not know. For instance, if you went to Jacksonville, okay, that's where a lot of where Yvette's aunts and uncles had many of them had settled, and she has a lot of cousins that are there. If you went to Jacksonville, they'd open their house, call, come on, because they certainly know your grandmother. Okay, they know your grandmother, and and they would be like, oh wow, just to find that that type of connection. But it's good to know that there are people around that you get an opportunity to to get to know. Did you know that we have a family reunion Zoom every Friday?
I did. And I swear, ever since I said I'm going to join the Zoom, every Friday there is something to do. Either we have short orders or I'm doing somebody's hair. And I'm like, I can't turn on Zoom probably because half of your hair is done. You wouldn't like that.
Oh, please.
we have other things that go on.
Yeah, we got other things that are happening. We did nobody paying attention to that.
But I did know that I have to make it an effort because my mom probably would love to see you guys. We do Zoom twice a week for our meetings, and it's been like a year and some months, and she still haven't figured the thing out. Every week she says, Aisha, Markeisha, can one of you log me in? Sure, Mom. So
that's so Dara.
Oh yeah, she's not tech savvy. Her new thing is she wants a cell phone in the portal so she can be able to see my nephew. They only live 6 minutes away, but my sister keeps them in because of the COVID. They just went back to school, but we're giving it some time before we tell her that he's in actual classroom because she'd probably have a heart attack.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make an effort to try to join that so I can see other family members.
It's a lot of fun.
Said it.
A lot of jokes.
Yeah. It's a lot of we get some serious topics. A lot of it is cutting up. As we're getting to know each other, and it's a fun time. And it's not like you got to come and stay the whole time. You can come halfway through. You can come at the beginning. Stay as long as you want. Stay as little as you want. And keep moving. And you don't even have to come every
3 weeks and come back, and you just go right in.
And there's new people out there, to go forward, and you hear all the stories and things about people. One of the stories that came out in the meeting was that Yvette's Uncle Louis, which is my father's first cousin, he shared with us that when he was in the military, that a part of his job was flying into the eye of hurricanes.
I never knew.
He is brave.
We never knew.
Wow.
Never knew.
Man. Okay. How is Uncle Louis?
How old is he, or how is he?
How old is he?
87.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. 87. And I guess the interesting story is that he was born on November 1st, 1933. My father was born on November 2nd, 1933.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
my grandma was November 11th. She was November 3rd, 1939.
But they were the same, a day apart, same place, same city, same everything, but just a day apart.
How about that?
Yep. And they've been that close ever since.
That's fascinating. That's really good.
Yep. So, Yvette, I'm going to go up and see Louis and Hilda probably first week in June.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. I thought you were going Memorial Day weekend. No?
Well, that would be Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, because I'm taking off. Memorial Day is the 31st.
Yeah, I think it's a Monday.
Yeah, so the 31st. So that becomes the first week of June. So I'll probably go up sometime during that week.
I'll be in Jamaica that weekend.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Have fun.
Thank you.
Yep.
Would that be your first time going to Jamaica? You've been before. He said no.
I can't even imagine. I can't.
That's just her first time this year.
Right.
Oh, okay. That's nice. I would love to go there. Are you going with friends or
friends? So I'm taking my daughter, a good friend of mine who is an attorney. It's his 50th birthday, and he invited a couple of us. So we're going.
Nice. Have a good time. My girlfriend, is half Jamaican and half Black. And she went there when she got married. Her dad's side of the family is all there. She lives in Delaware. She was raised after her parents split up. Her mom moved to Delaware from there. And she went back when she got married. So we gave her shower and everything here. And they did part of their wedding here and did the rest there.
Yeah, you have to go. You'd like it. And Hawaii too. What part of Hawaii did you go to?
I went to Waikiki, right where they do the movie Hawaii Five-0. And my girlfriend, I've met several people there when I went, and she just had a baby. And so she's like insistent that when COVID's over, I have to come and stay for 2 weeks with them.
Yeah, let me know. I just booked our ticket for December for Christmas.
Oh,
so
nice.
So we're gonna go to LA for a couple of days and then go to Hawaii and just kind of break it up.
I went in 2014 for the first time, and we were there for 15 days. I didn't want to come home. We were supposed to leave and go to San Francisco, but the people that I met there, they wound up being so nice. My girlfriend is Samoan, and I had never met her before. We just were at a convention for Jehovah's Witnesses, and we just clicked. And every day, her husband couldn't speak that much English. He would come and find me and say, "Come on, I'll show you where my wife is." And we would talk, and then they had us over for dinner. They had all their like family and cousins over. They did these like traditional Samoan meals and drinks for us, and they did dances to entertain us. It was really nice. They were on the side where the Disneyland resort is. Where it's like really green on that side of the island. So it was a lot of fun.
And you were there 15 days?
Yeah.
We don't even let relatives stay that long. No,
well, we went to the convention first. And then after the convention, the congregation that's closest to you, they host you for a little while so they could entertain you. And then we stayed with them the last 4 days. Those 4 days we were supposed to go to San Francisco, but we wound up being able to change everything and get some of our money back. 3 of us went, 2 of my girlfriends. So it was a lot of fun.
I get nervous when people come to my house and they have house slippers. I'm like, well, how long are you staying?
And it seems as though every time I tried to book a trip to Hawaii, it was always coming up to be so expensive that I would find someplace else in the world that I could go.
It was
less. Yeah, I mean, I think that's how I ended up getting to Bali. Going to Indonesia, because it was less to go there than it was to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
That trip for Hawaii was a blessing. I applied for it. The way it went was you apply for it, you get selected. You don't find out whether or not you're going to be able to go. So I had all my little savings. I didn't have a car payment then, and my dad was alive. He paid my car insurance. It was like $89 or something. And I had taken all my money and saved for it. And then little poor old me, my congregation said, we're going to give her a bon voyage party. So that's where I got all that money from. So while I was there, I bought so many presents because I didn't think I was going to be able to go there. I thought it would be like down the line. Turns out like I applied in maybe December, and by January I knew I was going. And my mom was like, you don't have your money together. But it worked out.
What time of the year did you go?
It was November. It was like November. I left October 31st and we came back November 17th.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
Wow.
You're a traveler. All right.
Yeah, I will pack a bag. I have clothes, sneakers, shoes, all types of outfits in my trunk because you never know what's going to come about. My mom was like,
so my mother, when I was growing up, and Aunt Blanche and Aunt Vi and Aunt Mary and Aunt Carrie, they would always say, so just make sure you always keep a bag packed because you never know when a good-looking prince or man is going to come and take you on this trip. So literally, when I first got my first apartment, I would always have like a bag packed and have a passport near. I'm still waiting for that gentleman to come.
Don't worry, me too. It's okay.
I'm like, where is he? I'll just go in and check myself.
My uncle Michael taught me how to drive, my mom's brother. And my parents didn't drive. He didn't want me to be like either one of them. They were city people. They would get on the bus, walk here and there. He was like, you're going to know how to drive a car. Don't be like your parents. My dad didn't get his license till he was 43.
I think I remembered that about your mother, that she didn't.
So she still doesn't drive. I still take her everywhere. She's been in 4 major car accidents, and she's like, I just given up on having a car in this system. But my uncle said, in case your car breaks down, because my first car was old as I was. It was a 1976 Volvo. I don't know why I wanted that car, but I always had walking shoes in there in case my car broke down, because I always had a hoopty.
As a witness, have you had the opportunity to meet other family members that are witnesses?
Oh yeah. Several. We do like a letter writing thing, and then maybe call different people in our community to offer.
No, I'm asking, have you gotten the chance to meet other family members?
Oh, of ours.
Yeah, of our family that are members.
Well, Latoya is baptized. I went to her baptism, but when I put up a picture of her, I found out I think it's Rusty.
Rusty, correct.
Rusty had gotten baptized maybe the month before Latoya. Latoya got baptized on my grandma's birthday, and he had gotten baptized the month before, maybe like 3 months apart, or no, 3 weeks apart, excuse me.
Yep.
But that's the only one that I know of that I can think of.
So now Rusty is Derek and Jay's uncle.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can make that connection. That's their uncle. Also Lisa Pulley. She lives just north of Tampa.
Okay.
Down here in Florida. She's one of my first cousins.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll have to connect you all.
Yeah, that would be nice. I would love
as well.
To see her.
And Lisa's mother. The way I'll always say it, that's my Aunt Liz. All right, probably the nicest person I've met in the history of the world.
Wow.
Right? She was just she was just somebody who was so kind and so sweet. Okay. And then we always wonder, then how did you marry Uncle Pulley? Because he was the toughest person I'd ever met in my life.
Yeah,
it's like, how did they? But and their family, all their kids reflect, who the two of them. So when you meet Lisa, you'll see she's as nice as can be. As nice as can be.
Oh yeah, I would love to meet her.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if you're able to put that together.
And she comes on she'll come on the Zoom.
On the Zoom?
Fridays every so often. Right. Yeah, so she jumps on
to do that.
And goes. So just remember the name Lisa Pulley.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yep.
It's so nice to be able to sit and talk with you guys. I'm glad you guys have this together for our family. It's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah, this has really been great because again, it's given us an opportunity to learn about a lot of people and that we don't know, but our family. Okay, so that is I think something that's important, especially as people are getting older and people are passing on, and and if we can find a way to kind of stay connected in that way, all the better. And for the younger generation to learn, what's their family history? Okay, where do I come from? Who's who, and so on and so forth. I think that's something that's so important. So, Yvette, you have any other questions?
No, I just want to remind you to definitely, if you can, put some of those photos on the site or send it to us. We'll upload it. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
You mean like the school pictures?
Huh? No,
the school pictures. So it's like half and then.
Yeah, that third grade picture.
None of those scary pictures.
You have none of my school pictures because.
Yeah, but especially if you have pictures of your grandmother and your mother, and all of those all things are things that can fit, into this production. As we put it, as it gets put together by these two James gentlemen. So,
Problem. Yeah,
and-
I will make sure I add some of those. I have some now that I can do, but I know I have tons of others that you guys probably
definitely
did.
any of those wedding pictures would be great because I like it's so funny. I remember that day vividly.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I always bring that day up because I just thought it was the funniest thing when my mother said, "Well, just make sure you put your bathing." I was like, "Under my dress," and she was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, that's so many.
I just thought that was the weirdest thing. And as soon, I mean, like literally, my mother went in, she took off her stuff. She's like, "You got your," and I took off my thing, and we were in the pool, and Aunt Blanche was, "That just don't make no." Come at the wedding and get in the pool. You just can't live without the water. And it was just, oh my gosh, it was the craziest thing.
Oh, good.
But then everybody got in the pool after. We were
Yeah,
a little bit. Everybody got in the pool.
we never went to Aunt Vicky's house and didn't
get in the pool.
I remember only one time when the liner had broken. We were like, well, "What are we gonna do?" You would have thought
That was
like
nice. That was a nice pool too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
their backyard.
and then they got their money's worth out of that pool.
Definitely.
They definitely did.
So, well, it was a pleasure.
Yes, nice chatting with you
Yes,
guys.
nice
Somebody
Thank you
says,
for
what
sharing. We
what do you-
appreciate it.
What are you gonna say? Next time,
I'm an entrepreneur. I learned well. I listened.
Please tell your mother we said hey, and,
Yes.
and
I sure
how
will.
is she doing? Tell her.
Tomorrow is her wedding anniversary because my dad passed away, so my mom's remarried. So tomorrow will be her 3rd wedding anniversary. So I'm gonna go put some things together tomorrow morning for her.
Okay, well, tell her we wish her a happy anniversary, and
Yes.
we're glad we got a chance to get to know you. And please don't
Yes,
be a stranger,
same here.
okay? Because there's a lot of us. So
There's nothing
just
wrong
know
with that.
there's a lot of us. So we're out there. So we certainly look forward to seeing you more as we go forward.
Yeah.
And tell your Uncle Kenny we're still waiting for him to come on Friday night.
I'm going to tell him.
I'm gonna message him. Yeah. Come on.
I sent him the information several times. He's like, "Yeah, I'm getting on." Never came on.
Yeah, he's been going through it, but hopefully
Yeah,
it'll
we
be more
understand.
encouraging
Yeah, we
Then-
understand.
than depressing because he needs to laugh. He's good at making everybody else
Yeah,
laugh.
and he would
All
he
the
would be a
time.
hit.
All the
He'd be
time.
a hit on Friday night
Folks,
with everybody there. So,
I'll send him a message.
Yeah.
Give him a ring. Yep. Well, you guys
So,
have a good night.
okay, you too. We'll see
you
ya.
all.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Love ya.
Bye.
Love you.
Okay.
Love you guys.